Hello everyone, welcome to the class once again. In today's class, we'll be discussing question based upon gravitation, and the pattern of question will be as per the question asked in JEE Main examination. Your JEE Main examination, each question is single choice question. That means one option will be the right answer. If you mark the right answer, you get +4 marks. If you mark incorrect, you get -1 marks. In today's class, we'll be seeing questions which have already come in previous examination and which are just like questions which are asked in JEE Main examination. Let's go with the first question of the day. A very large number of particles of same mass m are kept at horizontal distances of 1 meter, 2 meter, 4 meter, 8 meter up to infinity from origin. The total gravitational potential at origin is A -8 gm, B -3 gm, C -4 gm, D -2 gm. So you all must be remembering for the formula of gravitational potential that is given as -gm by r. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to first write down what is the formula for potential. If we have a point mass, the potential at any distance r is given as V equals to minus gm. Let me show here that we have taken small m. So this will be minus gm by r. This is what we know, and it's a scalar quantity, so we need not to consider anything about direction. It's a scalar quantity. It will be having only magnitude. Now, as per the given instruction in the question, you see here a very large number of particles. There are many particles. They are located at 1 meter, 2 meter, 4 meter, 8 meter up to infinity from origin. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how these particles are located. This is y-axis, this is the x-axis, and the particles are located here 1, then you see 2, now it will be at 4. The next particle, third particle is at 4, and the fourth particle is at 8. This is how the particles are located as per the given instruction in the question. So m here, m here, m here, m here, and the pattern continues. Now due to each particle, we need to talk about the potential at origin. Potential due to this particle, which is located at 1 meter, it will be minus gm by 1. Potential due to this particle, minus gm by 2. To do this, minus gm by 4. To do this, minus gm by 8. If I go ahead, if I write here, this will come out to be V equals to minus gm by 1 minus gm by 2 minus gm by 4 and minus up till so on. This term will be continued. Now you see here, for this is net potential at origin, V net, that is what we are interested in evaluating. If I take gm common, and if I write minus gm common, if I write 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4, the resultant equation will turn out to be V net is equal to minus gm. You see here, this will turn out to be 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 and plus 1 by 8 plus and so on up till infinity. You can see that this is an this is a geometrical progression. Okay, just you take note till here. I'll start at the other end. Okay, now you can see that this is actually a geometrical progression. 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 8. That means the common ratio is 1 by 2. You can easily check. Now this can be easily solved. The resultant of this geometrical progression will be equal to 2, and that's why we can write the net gravitational potential at the origin will turn out to be V net is equal to minus 2 gm. This is what you are going to get, because this value in total, its value will be equal to 2. So minus 2 gm, that is what you will be getting. So let me show you the right option that is matching. That is option number D, minus 2 gm will be the right answer for this question. Before starting next question, let me just clear the board. And let's switch to the next question of the day. Question number 2. A body starts from rest at a point distance r0 from the center of the earth of mass m. So you see that body starting from at a distance r0 from the center of the earth, and the mass of earth is m and radius r, that is given as r is the radius of earth, less than r0. The velocity acquired by the body when it reaches the surface of earth will be option number A, gm 1 upon r minus 1 upon r0, B 2 gm 1 minus r minus 1 upon r0, C under root 2 gm 1 minus r minus 1 by r0, D 2 gm under root 1 minus 1 upon r minus 1 upon r0. To solve such question, first you draw the diagram and try to understand what is happening. It says that body starts from rest at a point distance r0 from the center of the earth of mass m. So the starting point will be like this. This is earth let's say the body starts from here. This is the mass of Earth, and this distance is given as r naught. The radius of Earth is given as r. This is what that has been provided. So body starts from rest. The body is at rest, that means initial kinetic energy is 0. Distance r naught from center of Earth of mass m and radius r, that is what we have did. The velocity acquired by the body when it reaches the surface of the Earth will be. We need to find out the velocity of the body. Let's say the mass of body is small m and mass of Earth we have already noted down, that is capital M. So mass of body we have taken to be small m. This is what we have taken. Now you see here, as the body comes down, there is no external force for this Earth and body system. So that means the total energy of the system will remain conserved. That is, initial kinetic energy plus potential energy will be equal to final kinetic energy plus potential energy. So let me write that total mechanical energy initial will be equal to total mechanical energy final. So for this, we need to note down that initial potential energy plus initial kinetic energy will be equal to final potential energy plus final kinetic energy. This is what we can easily write down. Initial potential energy, we know that two bodies separated at a distance, the potential is given by minus gmm upon the separation. So hence this will be minus g capital M small m upon separation, that is r naught. Kinetic energy is 0 because it is at rest, so kinetic energy is 0 initially. Final potential energy when the body reaches the surface of Earth, when it reaches here finally. So its potential energy will be given as minus g mm upon r, and kinetic energy, let me write down that as half mv square. This is what we can write. This is the thing that we need to evaluate, v. So let me show you that first of all we can cancel out this m as common, small m common, that can be cancelled out. Minus gm by r naught and minus gm by r. So we can write in simple form this. Let us take this at the left hand side. So we'll get gm, and gm is here, so gm 1 upon r minus 1 upon r naught is equal to half v square. So from this equation we can easily mark that v is equal to under root of, take this 2 here, 2 gm 1 upon r minus 1 upon r naught. This is what we'll be obtaining. So let me just encircle this. This is the final speed when it reaches the surface of the Earth. V equals to under root 2 gm 1 upon r minus 1 upon r naught. Let's check. V is equal to under root 2 gm 1 minus upon r minus 1 upon r naught. This is the option number C, which matches with the right answer. So let's mark option number C as the right answer. I hope that you would understood how to solve such kind of question. You should know the formula for potential energy. You should know that from conservation of mechanical energy, the total energy remains conserved if no external force does any work on the system. So no work done on the system by external force, so energy will remain conserved. That is what we have applied here. Let's switch to the next question. Next question of the class. 2 point masses of mass 4m and m respectively, separated by d distance, are revolving under mutual force of attraction. Ratio of their kinetic energies will be A 1:4, B 4:1, C 1:1, D 1:16. So we have provided two bodies of different masses. The masses are given as 4m and m. Now you must be remembering that when two star system, they actually rotate, then they rotate about their center of mass. It's like the same thing, 2 point masses of masses 4m and m. Now you see here, if I draw here, this is mass m, and let me show that separation is given as d. This is mass 4m. The center of mass is quite obvious, will be nearer to the body of heavier mass. So here you will be having the center of mass. Now let's say they are rotating, so they will be rotating like this. This will be coming down. Now in a two body system, when they rotate under the mutual force of attraction and both body rotates, I have told you in the class that angular velocity remains the same. So if this is rotating with angular velocity omega, the same this body will be also rotating with angular velocity omega. So let me write that angular velocity with which they are rotating is given as omega, and that will be common for both the body. So you can write down that this is common for both. Next thing, now you try to understand they are rotating about this body, sorry, this center of mass. Let us try to find out what is this distance of the center of mass from both the objects. So if I say, if that is given that the total distance between them is d, so what will be the separation of center of mass from each of the body? Let us take our origin here, and if we evaluate the center of mass distance, if I say this distance is x, so how we can evaluate this distance x? It's very easy for us to evaluate. For the center of mass, you see here this distance x will be given as, or this distance of center of mass, the coordinate of center of mass we are actually interested to evaluate. For that, you see here, first of all, take the first body and its distance from origin is 0. So m into 0 plus, now see, take the second body from the origin, its distance from the origin is given as 4m, and the separation is given as d divided by total mass m plus 4m, that is equal to 5m. So this comes out to be 4 by 5d, quite obvious. That means this distance will be equal to 4 by 5d. So I am just marking that this separation that we have just evaluated, that has turned out to be 4 by 5d. Quite obvious, this separation will be d by 5. Easily we can say that this separation will be d by 5. We got the distance of the center of mass for each of the, from each of the object, from each of the point masses. Now you see your kinetic energy, they are only in revolution. Kinetic energy is given by half I omega square. This is what we know when a body rotates, its kinetic energy is given as half I omega square. Now moment of inertia will be actually m and this distance whole square. Try to understand, m and this distance whole square, that is the moment of inertia of this body, and m and this distance whole square, that is the moment of inertia for this body. Omega is same. So if I take the ratio of kinetic energy, now you see two bodies, 2 point masses of mass 4m and m respectively. So first we have to write down the kinetic energy of mass 4m. Separated by distance, these are revolving under mutual force of attraction. Ratio of the kinetic energies will be. So we need to write down, let me keep this as m into distance whole square into omega square. Now we need to evaluate kinetic energy of 4m divided by kinetic energy of m. So half I of 4m multiplied with omega square and half I of m and multiplied with omega square. Both will be having different moment of inertia. Omega and omega square will be common and that can be cancelled out. Half and half can be also cancelled out. So you have to only take the ratio of the moment of inertia. Now you see here, this turns out to be I of 4m. We know that I is mr square. So that is what I have written, mx square. This distance of 4m, its mass is 4m and this distance d by 5 whole square. So this we will be writing 4m into its distance from the center of mass, it will turn out to be d by 5 whole square, and for mass m this will be 4d by 5 whole square. This is what we can easily see that. Now you see here 4m d by 5 whole square and here m 4d by 5 whole square. This term will be cancelled out, that is 5 here and 5 here will be cancelled out. Both are in square, they will be cancelled out. And m will be cancelled out. Easily you can check that these terms will be cancelled out. You will be having 4d square divided by 16d square. So you will be having 4d square divided by 16d square. This turns out to be 1:4. Quite simple, 1:4. That means the ratio of kinetic energy will be in the ratio of 1:4. Let's check the option. Option number A, that is 1:4. That is the first option is the right answer. Quite interesting question. We have understood how to solve such kind of question. I believe that you would have learned how to solve this such kind of question from this example. Quite helpful. let's proceed with the next question of the class. So we are having the next question, question number 4. A planet has a mass equal to 8 times the mass of Earth and density is also equal to 8 times the average density of the Earth. So we are having a different planet whose mass is 8 times the mass of Earth and density also equal to 8 times the density of the Earth. If g be the acceleration due to Earth's gravity on its surface, then acceleration due to gravity on planet's surface will be. We have to find out the acceleration due to gravity on the planet's surface. First of all, we know that g on Earth is what? That is equal to g mass of Earth, if I mark it with E, upon radius of Earth whole square. This is what we know. Mass of Earth and radius of Earth whole square. Now for planet, what we'll be having? For the acceleration due to gravity on planet, that will be equal to g mass of planet divided by radius of planet whole square. This term should actually fit for acceleration due to gravity on the planet. Now say you check the options are given in terms of acceleration due to gravity on the surface of Earth. So we need to relate what will be the acceleration due to gravity, just how much it is related with the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of Earth. Now you see here, GMP, now say mass of planet, what is that? That is given as 8 times of mass of Earth. A planet has a mass equal to 8 times the mass of Earth. So we can write that mass of planet is 8 times of mass of Earth. Now radius of planet and radius of Earth, that is not directly given, but it's given that the density is also equal to 8 times the average density of the Earth. For here you see, density, we know that density of planet will be what? It will be equal to its volume 4 by 3 pi radius of planet, if I mark Rp, pi r cube into, okay, just a minute, I did density into equal to volume. Just to write mass of planet is equal to its volume 4 by 3 pi radius of planet whole cube multiplied with volume, multiplied with its density, that is rho of planet. This is what has been given to us. Now you see here, mass of planet is what? 8 times the mass of Earth. So we can write this as 8 times of mass of Earth is equal to 4 by 3 pi radius of planet whole cube, and rho of you see rho of planet, that is also 8 times the rho of Earth, 8 times the rho of Earth. And again if we simplify, we'll be having this term will be cancelled out. We will be having mass of Earth is equal to 4 by 3 pi Rp whole cube, and rho E, that is rho of Earth, that is mass of Earth divided by its volume 4 by 3 pi Re whole cube. This is what we know, because mass of planet is 8 times the mass of Earth and the density of planet is also 8 times density of Earth. This is what we can actually note down. So what you take note till here, I'll start from the other end, take note till here. So I believe that you would have taken note of this. Now easily you can identify that radius of the planet is equal to radius of the Earth. That is what we can write. So I can write that radius of planet is equal to radius of Earth. This is what we can easily note down, because rest of term will be cancelled out. You can see m of Earth, m of F will be cancelled out. This all terms will be cancelled out. So you'll be left with this. You can easily compare radius of planet will be equal to radius of Earth. Note down this one. Next thing, just put this value here. That is what we need to evaluate. If you put this value here, you will get g on planet, that is equal to g mass of planet is 8 times of mass of Earth divided by radius of planet whole square, that is radius of Earth whole square. That is, you find that it will be 8 times of GME by RE whole square. GME by RE whole square, that is equal to 8g. Right option 8g, we need to mark. You see here 8g is option number C. So this will be the right answer. This is how we can evaluate such questions. Now I believe that you would have understood how to apply the formula for acceleration due to gravity while evaluating it for different planets. The formula will be same that we are using for Earth, only thing that some things we are changing when we need to find the relation with the acceleration due to gravity on the surface of Earth. Let's go to the next question. a particle of mass m is projected upwards with velocity v equals to ve by 2, and v is the escape velocity. At highest point, the potential energy of the particle is, we need to find out what is the potential energy of the particle at the highest point. A minus gmm by 2r, b minus gmm by 4r, c minus 3 by 4 gmm by r, d minus 2 by 3 gmm by r. So here you have to find out at highest point the potential energy of the particle is. What is the potential energy of the particle at the highest point? First of all, let me actually show you the situation what is happening. This is our, let's say, Earth or anything. Particle of mass m is projected upwards with velocity v by 2. From here, a particle is projected with a velocity given by ve by 2. This is what has been provided. Now, for escape velocity, you must be knowing that it is equal to, if the kinetic energy obtained due to escape velocity, that is equal to half m ve whole square, and that is equal to the potential energy on the surface of Earth. So that will be equal to, and that only magnitude, I am not adding a negative. For magnitude I am writing gmm by r. This is what you should know. M and m will be cancelled out. We all know that v whole square will be equal to 2 gm by r, and I have also discussed the same formula in the class also. So for v, we have got this relation. We have to find out the potential energy at the highest point. At the highest point, when it reaches the kinetic energy will be 0. Again, no external agent is doing any work on this Earth and particle system. The total mechanical energy of the system will remain conserved. So let me write down total mechanical energy remains conserved. So total mechanical energy initial is equal to total mechanical energy final at the topmost point. This is what we will be evaluating for total mechanical energy final. Now for here you see total mechanical energy initial, it will be half m ve by 2 whole square, that is the kinetic energy initial, plus potential energy, that will be minus g mm by r. This is what we know. At the highest point, we need to find out the potential energy. So let me write down UF, that is the potential energy at the highest point, plus kinetic energy, that will be 0. I am not written here kinetic energy, potential energy separately. You can easily see that this is kinetic energy, this is potential energy, this is potential energy, this is kinetic energy. Now, if we evaluate this, already I have disclosed the formula for V in terms of Gm by R. You see, V is equal to, V whole square is equal to 2 Gm by R. This is what we should actually put. So for here you see 1 by 2 and this 2 square will become 1 by 8, 1 by 2 into 2 into 4, 8 into m, and VE whole square. V whole square, you can easily see that that's equal to 2 Gm by R. So let me put that equal to 2 Gm by R minus Gmm by R is equal to final potential energy. For here you see this will be equal to 4 times, it will go 1 minus 1 by 4, you will be getting 3 by 4. So this will come out to be minus 3 by 4 Gmm by R is equal to final potential energy, minus 3 by 4 Gmm by R. Let's check with the required option. If you see 1 is incorrect, 2 incorrect, third one matches. So option number C, minus 3 by 4 Gmm by R is the right answer for this example. Now let's proceed with the next one. I hope that we understood for how to use escape velocity formula in such questions. And such questions practice will be very much helpful for you also, that you can increase your accuracy and speed so that you can score well in your examination. Let's go ahead with the next question of the class. Sixth one. There is a spherical shell of mass capital M and radius r. The required energy to double its radius is. It's not too difficult. We have to use the formula. What is the formula for total energy used, total energy actually acquired by the spherical shell when it is actually constructed? Now you must be knowing that I have discussed in class, when there are several particles located in space, and as they assemble, as they come close together, they will actually come close together and they will make up the body. That means they are going to have a potential energy. I have discussed this case, what is the potential energy acquired by the body when all the particles from infinity, because when they are separated through infinity, the potential will be 0. As they assemble, they are going to have some potential energy. So we are interested to solve the potential energy for this one. So I will be giving you the formula for this one. Just let me rub the board at the other end. So I hope that you understood what concept I am talking about in this point, in this section. Now we know that potential of a sphere at its surface, if its mass is m, we know that potential is given as minus gm by r, where r is the radius. Now see here, it's a sphere, a spherical shell, it's a hollow sphere. So that's why I have taken only one r, I have not taken a variable r, I have not taken a small r and show that it's variable. Now if a mass dm is added, the work done will be what? Work done will be equal to here V into dm. dm into V, we know that. So easily you can write down the formula, that will be minus G m by r into dm. And then you integrate this to find out the net work done when the entire mass is increased from 0 to capital M. You see, mass changes from, mass varies from 0 to capital M. This is what we know, that in this part it is happening. Just simply integrate the same function minus gm by r dm from 0 to capital M. So total work done in assembling all the particles will turn out to be, total work done, W is equal to integration of such small work done, dW. That is what I have shown here, dW. Okay, this was dW. Now we have to integrate this. So we will be having G by R integration of m dm, and this will be negative 0 to capital M. This is what that will be happening. Now easily you can show that, this will be m square by 2. Work done will turn out to be minus G by R m square by 2. Substitute the limit 0 to capital M, minus G by R m square by 2. Quite simple, minus gm m square by 2r. This will be the final formula for this work done. This will be the potential energy of the spherical shell of mass m and radius capital R. Now what will be the potential energy of the spherical shell when its radius is doubled? Now see, its radius r, the required energy to double its radius is. Let's find the potential energy of the body when the radius is doubled. So I am just rubbing this part, I hope you would have taken down this. So final potential energy when the radius is doubled, final potential energy as radius is doubled, we will be having U final is equal to minus G m square upon radius. So we have to use here 4r, minus G m square by 4r. This is what the formula that we will be reaching to. So change in potential energy, you see here, this is actually smaller compared to this one. This is actually 4 we are having, 4 in the denominator, so its magnitude will be actually smaller. So in overall this will be, it will be larger. Overall, since the negative sign is applied, it's larger. So change in potential energy, U final minus U initial. So you solve this, minus G m square by 4r minus U initial, that is actually equal to this. If I write U initial, that is equal to minus G m square divided by 2r. This is what you will be having. So let's subtract this term. We will be having minus G m square by 2r. This is what we will be having. So gm square can be taken as common. So 1 by 2 minus 1 by 4, that will equal to 1 by 4 overall. So 1 by 4 gm square by r, this term we will be getting. Easily you can see that gm square you can take outside, this minus will become plus. So gm square, as I kept here, 1 by 2 minus 1 by 4, you will be having 1 by 4 gm square by r. Let's check the right answer. A is incorrect. 3 by 2 gm square by r, that's incorrect. C, 1 by 4 gm square by r, that is the correct answer for this question. So you can see that how to solve such kind of question when energy is required. If you forget the formula, you can derive as I derived just now in the class. If you remember the formula, that gm square by 2r is the formula for potential energy of a spherical shell. So let me rub this entire part. And we will start the next question. So I believe that you would have understood how to solve this question. Now let's go to the next question, that is question number 7. The angular momentum L of Earth revolving around the Sun is proportional to r to the power n. Where r is the orbital radius of the Earth, the value of n is, assume the orbit to be circular. Let me just remove this. Okay. In this question, we have to talk about the angular momentum of the Earth. We all know that what is angular momentum? Angular momentum is just L equals to mvr. So I am writing the formula for angular momentum, that is equal to L equals to mvr. Now see, if say this is Sun and this is Earth, it's revolving all around the Sun. So we require its speed. If its speed is v and its distance from center of Sun is r, so if we multiply mass of Earth with its speed and with the distance r, we will get r. Now here you see, it's given that angular momentum of Earth revolving around the Sun is proportional to r to the power n. So here we have to only find the proportionality, how it is related with respect to r, where r is the orbital radius of the Earth. Now for this question, we have to find the angular momentum, how it is related. Now you see here, for if it is moving with speed v, we have to consider that the orbit is circular. We all know that the centripetal force mv square by r will be provided by the gravitational force of attraction, that will be equal to g mass of Sun into m gmm by r square. Quite obvious. For this you see, m and m will be cancelled out and easily will be obtaining v square is equal to, and 1r will be cancelled out, v square will be equal to g m by r. We obtained this, v square will be equal to g m by r. So v will be equal to under root of g m by r. We obtained this, v will be equal to under root g m by r. Now you see here, L equals to mvr. M is the mass of Earth, small m is the mass of Earth, and capital M is the mass of Sun. That is what we have taken. If you want, I can show you here, m and small m. Now let's go ahead, let us put the values of v and r. We will be having L equals to m. What is the value of v? That is under root gm by r. So we will obtain, as I proceed, this will be equal to gm by r and power 1 by 2 multiplied with r. Easily you can see that L will be proportional to r to the power 1 by 2. You see this, here you have r to the power minus 1 by 2 multiplied with r to the power 1, you will be having r to the power 1 by 2. So L is clearly proportional to r to the power 1 by 2. Let's check the given options from our given set of options. A 1 by 2, that is the right answer for this question. Rest are incorrect. B 1, C minus 1 by 2, D 2, all are incorrect. So for such question, you find out the angular momentum formula, then put up the values, you will get how angular momentum is related to the distance of center of Sun from center of Sun. Center of Sun from center of Earth. Now let's go ahead with the next question. Prior to that, just let me clear up the board. I hope that you are understanding with all such questions how to solve and how to enhance our accuracy and speed. Next thing, 8th one, if g is the acceleration due to gravity on the Earth's surface, we got small g, that is the acceleration due to gravity on the Earth's surface. The gain in the potential energy of an object of mass m raised from the surface of the Earth to a height equal to the radius r of the Earth is half mgr, b 2 mgr, c mgr, d 1 by 4 mgr. Now here we all know that potential energy formula, it's equal to g m by r, that is what we know. And now we have to relate the potential energy with mg and r, that is means we have to relate with acceleration due to gravity the potential energy formula. G is the acceleration due to gravity on Earth's surface, the gain in potential energy of an object of mass m raised from the surface of the Earth to height equal to the radius r of the Earth. Earth, let's say this is Earth, let's say its radius is given as r. Initially the object is here, So if I write initial potential energy, that will be equal to minus g m by r. The object body is mass m, Earth's mass is capital M, that is what we know. This is the formula that we have to use. As the object is raised, so if we take this object to a height whose altitude is equal to capital R, if it is brought here, we will be having the final potential energy is equal to minus gmm by 2r. This is what we can see, that the final potential energy will be equal to minus gmm by 2r. Let us see what is the change in potential energy, what is the gain in potential energy. Delta U will be equal to U final minus U initial. So minus gmm by 2r divided now minus of minus gmm by r. This is what we have obtained. This will become minus into minus plus. So gmm by r minus half gmm by r. You will be having half of gm by capital R. This is what we are going to obtain. Now from here, if we multiply the entire equation with capital R and divide by capital R, we will not be having any change. So delta U will be equal to half gmm r divided by r square. Now see what we have done. We multiplied this equation with capital R, we divided with capital R. So what we will be having, we will be having this equation. Now observe gm by r square, this will be equal to acceleration due to gravity on Earth's surface. So delta U can be specified as half mg capital R. Let's check the given option, which one will be the right answer. So option number A, half mgr, that matches with the right answer. Rest 2 mgr is incorrect, mgr incorrect, 1 by 4 mgr, that is incorrect. This is how you have to actually solve such question. If you are thinking that on the surface of Earth the potential will be 0, if you raise it, potential will be mgr. If you are going to solve in that manner, you will be getting the wrong answer. This is how you have to solve stepwise to get the right answer, that will be half mgr for this question. Let's go ahead. The next question of the day. Let's do the next question. Question number 9. What is the minimum energy required to launch a satellite of mass small m from the surface of a planet of mass capital M and radius r in a circular orbit of an altitude of 2r? Once again, I am repeating the question so that you may understand, you may clarify the statement of this question. First of all, the satellite is on the surface of the planet. You have to launch it and the altitude should be 2r. You see, what is the minimum energy required to launch a satellite of mass m? Satellite mass is given as m from the surface of a planet of mass capital M. Now you see the initial scenario. This is the planet. Let's say the satellite has to be launched from here. Satellite. Its mass is given as small m. Its mass is capital M. This is what has been provided. We have to provide an energy. Now you see where we have to take it. From the surface of a planet of mass m and radius r in a circular orbit at an altitude of 2r. You see its radius is given as r. You have to launch it so that it rotates. This altitude is given as 2r. You have to launch it from here, make it to reach here, and it starts revolving all around this planet. This is what we know that the satellite do. Now you see here, at this height, let us first try to understand what will be the speed of the satellite. We all know that for given centripetal force, mv square, that we have used for the speed of satellite, small m, it's its mass, and mv square by this distance from the center of the satellite will be equal to 3r. So mv square by 3r will be equal to g m divided by, we are actually using the formula for gravitational force of attraction. The total distance is 3r whole square. So we are using here 3r whole square. So So you will be obtaining, you see m and m will be cancelled out. You will be having v square will be equal to gm upon 3r. You see 3r will be left upon 3r. This is what you will be actually obtaining for the speed with which the satellite will be moving all around the planet. First thing we evaluate. Due to this speed, one thing you can understand that it will be having a kinetic energy. Quite obvious. If it's moving the speed, it will be having a kinetic energy. Now you see here, initially it is having potential energy. There is no kinetic energy initially. If you have given it some energy, it will have some more potential energy here and some kinetic energy here. No external force is acting on the satellite and planet system, hence total mechanical energy will remain conserved. So for this case, I am writing, since F external is equal to 0 for planet and satellite system, you will be having total mechanical energy remains conserved. Total mechanical energy remains conserved. So we can easily equate the total kinetic energy and potential energy for satellite and planet system. So total mechanical energy initially will be equal to total mechanical energy finally. So you will be having initial potential energy plus kinetic energy initial is equal to final potential energy plus kinetic energy final. This is what equation we can use. Initial potential energy when it is on the surface of planet minus g m by r, quite obvious. The kinetic energy we need to evaluate, you can see we have to evaluate the kinetic energy. So let me write down this as plus 0, sorry, kinetic energy you have to evaluate, so we should write plus Ke is equal to u final. When it is an altitude of 2r from the surface, so total height from the center of the planet will be 3r, so minus gmm by 3r plus kinetic energy final, let me write this as half mv square. This is what we shall use, half mv square we shall use. Let's go ahead. Kinetic energy minus gm by 3r, take this here, so you will be having g m 1 upon r, so r also have used, so this will turn out to be 1 minus 1 by 3, first thing you will be having, and plus half m. Now comes the role of v square. V square we have evaluated gm by 3r, this is what we have evaluated, gm by 3r, so I am using here gm by 3r. Now let's go ahead and solve it further. We will be having gmm by r, here also we are having gmm by r, so I am taking gmm by r as common. 3 into 2 6, so 1 by 6, and prior to that 1 minus 1 by 3 will be actually equal to 2 by 3. So 2 by 3 plus 1 by 6, this is what we will be obtaining. So easily you can see that this will be equal to 2 by 3 plus 1 by 6, that will be equal to 5 by 6. So 5 by 6 gmm by r, this will be the total kinetic energy that you have to give. So those are the satellite which is at an altitude of 2r. So let me write down the final kinetic energy that you have to give, that will be 5 by 6 gmm by r. I hope that you have taken note of this part which I have rubbed. So kinetic energy that you have to actually provide to the satellite, 5 by 6 g mass of planet into mass of satellite divided by the radius of planet. Let's go ahead, 5 by 6 gm by r, option number A, that matches. Rest 2 by 3 gm by r, no, gm by 2r, no, and gm by 3r, no, all are incorrect. Only option number A is the right answer which matches with our calculation. Now let's go ahead with the next one. And I hope that you are understanding each problem. We have included every kind of problem, potential, satellite, planet system, gravitational force of attraction we have also used. Next problem of the day, 10th one. A geostationary satellite orbits around the earth in a circular orbit of radius 36,000 km. Geostationary satellite. Let me tell you, geostationary satellite, the time period of geostationary satellite is 24 hours. Next thing, then the time period of a spy satellite orbiting a few hundred kilometers above the Earth's surface, RE 6400 km, that is the radius of Earth, 6400 km, will approximately be A, half hour, B, 1 hour, C, 2 hour, D, 4 hour. I hope that you must be knowing from Kepler's law, square of the time period is proportional to cube of the distance of the satellite from the planet. For planetary motion, we know that I have also given in regular class T square. I am using Kepler's law directly, the formula, it comes out to be 4 pi square r cube upon gm. This is the formula for square of the time period. If we, for geostationary satellite, if we keep r as 36,000 km plus 6400 km, understand, you will be obtaining time period as 24 hours, because that is the time period of a geostationary satellite. Regularly you will find that it will be above your head. Now you see, it says that then the time period of a spy satellite orbiting a few hundred kilometers above the Earth's surface. If any satellite is just above the Earth's surface, for that we have to use r is equal to radius of Earth just above the Earth's surface. Time period will come out to be T square will be equal to 4 pi square, radius of Earth you use here 6400 multiplied with 10 to power 3 whole cube, divide by value of gm 6.67 10 to the power minus 11 with proper SI units, to mass of Earth, let's take it as 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg. Although this information has not been provided, the mass of Earth has not been provided, but see, I have written this for your understanding. I have told you in class also, when any satellite is near to Earth, its time period is 84.6 minutes. 84.6 minutes, that is more than an hour. Now you see, time period is proportional to r. At least you can see that square of time period is proportional to r. That means if you increase the distance from the planet, the satellite time period will also increase. Now you see, when it was near to the surface of Earth, the time period was more than an hour. So half an hour and 1 hour cannot suit to the given answers. Now you have to take judgment, 2 hour or 4 hour. It is just a few hundred kilometers above the surface of Earth. You see here, it is orbiting a few hundred kilometers above the Earth's surface. That means which is near to the Earth's surface, it is 84.6 minutes, 1 hour 4 and 24 minutes. Increase it a few hundred kilometers, that means the nearest option possible will be 2 hour. This is how you have to mark this answer. So 2 hour will be the right answer. This is a previous year question. So you have to decide, you have to take your own judgments for such objective questions. So 2 hour will be the right answer for this question. I hope that you would have understood how to solve such kind of question. Now with this exercise, I believe that you would have understood the entire gravitational concept, and I want you all that you practice more questions in this chapter so that you can increase your efficiency and your accuracy will be also good after practicing questions. I believe that this exercise practice would be quite helpful for your preparation. So do practice well. I wish you all the very best. Thank you. I'll meet you in the next class.